Hey, all right. Thanks for tuning in to I'll Be Right Over Here, the Wingman Podcast. As always, I am one of two hosts. My name is Steve Guy, comedian and author of the book Memoirs of a Wingman, joined by I couldn't think of another word again. Son of a bitch.
You really need to work on your adjectives.
I do. The thing is, all right, before I get to even say that, my wonderful, I don't want to say special, I was going to say elegant, but there is a lot to you that's not elegant.
That's the last thing I would use to describe
Yeah, that's
me.
not the first word. That's not in the first 20 words that come to my mind to describe you.
No.
But Rebecca Maxwell, of course, is here too. I get, it's called like Word Guru or something. It comes to my email all the time. It's like a different vocabulary word every day.
Oh, that's really nerdy, but more power to you.
It's fun, but
I'm
I
sure.
don't, sometimes I know them, then I get really excited. I'm like, yeah, I knew that. But I don't think I've used any of those words yet when I do these descriptions. So now I have to go back. I save them. I have an email folder for it. And because this is what you do when you talk for
a living.
Is you want to learn words. And I have to go back into there and see if I can find some words.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can use that.
That's the one.
Yeah, sometimes they don't make any sense and they definitely don't apply. Like they're good words. I'm like, I never need to use that word in a sentence, really. But it's definitely not on this show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And before we get too far, of course, thanks to Jenkins Insurance Agency out of Talmadge, Ohio. They've been serving the greater Northeast Ohio community for decades now. Why not have them serve you? If you need home, life, business, auto, personal, any sort of insurance needs, check out Jenkins Insurance Agency. And we are, of course, part of the Cleveland Comedy Network, a division of the Cleveland Comedy Festival, which, oh, by the way, if you didn't realize, you should subscribe to the YouTube channel because, some of our shows, if we've been doing this video stuff, are going to be popping up there if they're not already, as well as podcast platforms, but also original series have started to premiere. Like recently, I Love the CLE has premiered, and the very first episode is all about movies that were filmed in or about Cleveland, and so that's a lot of fun, a panel of comedians and other area personalities. You don't know who's going to pop up on this series as it goes along. I got some inside knowledge on it, but that's really cool. So subscribe to the YouTube channel for Cleveland Comedy Network and Festival, and we are coming to you from the Golden Ox Studio in Tremont, Ohio, a neighborhood of Cleveland proper. It's a lovely day out, Rebecca. Lovely day.
A little chilly, but it's a beautiful day still.
It's
Sun was
Cleveland
shining.
in the springtime officially. That happens. Whatever. At least it's not snowing.
Thank God.
But hey, if you do anything in terms of voice work, maybe you need ads, you need to record an audiobook. I don't know. Maybe you're awesome and you wrote a book and you need to record an audio version of it to put on audible.com or something. Check out Golden Ox Studio. Go to goldenoxstudio.com. They do so much more than just recording podcasts here, so check that out. That's always a lot of stuff. Do you think anybody listens to it? I hope they do.
Probably.
Because there's some little knickknacks and tidbits we leave in there that's fun along the way.
Yeah. I hope so.
Easter eggs, Like somebody probably picked up like Word Guru. I could use some new words. I like that he said that. I'm gonna sign up for Word Guru and learn some new words today.
Yeah.
That's my impression of the guy who listens to the show. The one guy who listens to the show. Anyway, how are you doing there? What's going on? What's going on with you? I feel like we haven't checked in with you. We just talk about topics every week for
great.
a while.
I can't complain.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's 2-1 Thrift?
It's good. It's good. We have some fun things coming soon. I'm waiting on some sweatshirts for my favorite design. I'm actually thinking about getting a vendor's license for the NFL draft so that I can set up on the street and have a little pop-up.
You got to jump on that.
I know. I have 15 days.
Yeah.
So it seems pretty easy to obtain the license. I just need to learn some specifics. So we'll see.
Are there words in there that you could benefit from
help
having
with?
Word Guru?
Probably.
We need a sponsorship here from Word Guru. The amount of times I've said it already here in the first 5 minutes of this show. Yeah, well, we've talked about your company for a while, and I know it has nothing to do with dating, but it's an exciting, really cool thing. You guys should support Rebecca. It's 2.1.thrift. It's on Twitter too now, right?
Yes.
On Instagram and Twitter.
And Facebook.
Oh,
I'm
and
trying
Facebook.
to do all
Get
the
it all.
things.
But you know, when we first talked about it, it was thrift stuff, but now you have like, you've printed.
Yeah. Yeah, so I started printing, and most of it is still thrifted. So, like, that's what I love is everything is still, like, one of one.
Yeah.
But the newest design that I'm really, really excited about is going to, it's going to be, I have a very specific view for it. It's going to be bulk ordered sweatshirts, stuff like that. So, it'll be a very girly design, but.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'm very excited about it. Hopefully she calls me this week and says that they're in because I'm ready to get it going.
It's
before
cool.
somebody else thinks of it.
It's cool. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Love it a lot. Also, hey, if you like t-shirts, you could support our show. Cleveland Comedy Festival has a website with all of their merchandise. It is bonfire.com/Cleveland-comedy-festival. And there's an official Wingman line. So you can buy official Wingman t-shirts, sweatshirts. There's tank tops. I know summer's coming, and support the show. Wear that stuff. Get the word out there. Wear your official Wingman attire. And when people are like, "What's that?" you can be like, "Oh, I listened to I'll Be Right Over Here, the Wingman podcast." And boom! I don't even care that you don't buy my book, Memoirs of a Wingman. It's more about this right now. It is more about this. You can buy the book.
The book is really good though, so you should buy it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, you did read it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Got a fan. Oh, Lord, she's not just saying that because we're sitting across from each other.
No, I actually did laugh the whole time I read it. So
yeah, thank you. That's the best compliment I can get.
it was really good.
A lot of people try to figure out like, oh, so this whole thing's a real story. Like, no, I'm this creative, folks.
Right.
There are elements that are true, but if I had to guess, it's like 30-70, 30 being true.
Okay. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And the stuff that is true is probably then like exaggerated,
Yeah.
you know, to make it funnier.
Most books. Yeah.
Right, right. But the idea was making an easy read. It's under 200 pages, you guys. Like,
I blew through it.
yeah, take a day, 2 days,
Yeah, I think I read it in maybe 3.
yeah, 3 poops and you're done. 3 poops and you've read the whole book. So there you go. It's perfect. Everybody poops. It's fine.
Yeah, but I don't understand how guys take so long to poop.
It's because we're not just pooping. We're, in the olden days, it was you took a newspaper in there.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You read the sports page. And listen, as a youngster, I read that sports page. I was in the bathroom for like 40
I just
minutes.
don't understand how it takes.
And I was just...
So did you poop and then you just sit there?
Yeah, I just kept reading.
No.
Some of it's like, it's your escape. It's where you can go and it's you time.
No. I'm literally in and out.
You don't
would think I
have...
peed,
Do you have something in your life that's like, yeah, this is me time. I can escape and this is where I am.
Yeah, when
and
I
it's just me.
masturbate.
But that's a different thing.
At noon.
That is a different thing entirely. You're not like...
It's when I get out of the shower. That's what I go to immediately.
The shower is another place where sometimes I take longer showers just because all my thoughts are going there.
I used to do that. But.
And the same thing is we just do dumb things when we're because you have the excuse that you're in the bathroom and you're taking a shit, so it's like nobody wants to bother you while you're taking a shit because everyone's like, oh, I don't want to go near there, it smells, and you're like, yeah, it does, but like you were done.
I guess it's
30 minutes ago
because guys are allowed to openly poop and like girls have to hide it.
Everybody poops. I don't care.
Yeah, it takes me like 0.5 seconds.
Girls cannot hide it. It smells awful.
No,
it does.
Maybe the girls you should talk to.
Oh, every girl thinks that their poop doesn't
My
smell.
shit smells like flowers.
No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It does not. Mm-hmm. The farts smell awful. No. The poops smell awful. It is the worst. It's horrible. It's horrible.
To each their own, I guess.
been around a lot of women in different
I am a woman,
capacities.
So I think I know better than you.
This is what I'm saying. Women think that it doesn't, but it does. Yeah.
Whatever.
I have 2 moms. I have female cousins. I have sister-in-laws. You know what I mean? I've dated women. I have lived with women as friends. Your shit stinks. Okay?
All right.
Your shit stinks.
Whatever.
It does. But yeah, we spend time in there because we're catching up on sports Twitter and reading things. That's what's going on. Playing games on our phone.
I don't have time for that.
That's what's happening in there. We're not just, it's not that we have some sort of GI problem. We probably were done 30 minutes ago.
That's so weird to me.
But it's just, hey, I'm reading this now. You know what I mean? Like if
I mean, do your thing.
if
Do what you gotta do.
if poops were just supposed to be in and out and the whole process of sitting on the toilet, why do they make magazines? Why do people have magazine collections in their bathrooms? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I can't.
Just for the one that you can't get out, that you gotta.
I can't finish an entire article from Us Magazine at my parents' house by the time I'm done pooping. Like, I'm done, but I'm into what happened to Brangelina now. So I need to keep reading even though I am done. And I do. And then it's like, oh shit, Lindsay Lohan is crazy again with her parents. What's this about? And you just keep on going, you know? And then like, oh my gosh, stars, they are just like us. Look at Mila Kunis shopping with Ashton Kutcher. Okay. You know, you keep rolling and it just,
I guess.
you get caught off guard. It's like one thing leads to another. And
Now you're in there for an hour.
Now you're in
Now
there.
we know you pooped.
now you're in there forever. Yeah.
And we think that you were just shitting your brains out.
Nope. Just
That's what I assume.
just reading, being educational. Take
Educational.
that. Educational. Man, when I was a kid, I used to do my homework in the shitter.
Oh my God.
Well, not like writing stuff, but like if I had to read a chapter of something, I'd take that in there with me. Why not?
No.
Why? I gotta get away from people. I gotta poop
Go in
anyway.
your room and shut the door.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They know that you're in there. And people are willing to knock on your door or scream at you or go in there and ask you a million questions while you're trying to read this chapter of social studies. And you're like, hey, Ma, I got a fucking test tomorrow. I'm trying to read chapter 3 here on U.S. and Canada relations or whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah, and so then you're just like, you know what, everybody, I gotta take a shit. Gonna be in there in a while. Take the social studies book with you. Nobody bothers you. Like, well, I don't want to go near that door. And they don't know that you've been done. You just keep reading. You now, boom, come out. Homework's done. I'm ready to go for this pop quiz tomorrow.
Whatever works for you, bro.
Pop quiz, hot shot. How long did it take you to read this chapter? 1 poop.
Precisely 1 shit.
We didn't even come close to talk about this topic yet.
I don't even know. I forgot what we're talking about now.
What we were going to talk about was, it's okay.
Oh,
this'll
yeah.
We are going to talk about like, so everybody, you see someone and you're attracted to people and everybody has different like insecurities about their body and things. But for some people there's more, right? And so it's like somebody gets unclothed for the first time and there are all sorts of things. There are scars, birthmarks. Women get crazy about stretch marks and I don't know, even maybe after they've had kids or they're divorced and they've got C-section scars. There's a million things, cellulitis, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about today. Are the insecurities that surround this, and does that play into your attraction level to people?
I feel like, so personally, I feel like the only thing that I ever think about is body hair. I'm very weird about body hair. Okay. It's always been like my only real insecurity. Mm-hmm. So when I'm not prepared and I'm like, oh, fuck. I mean, dudes really don't care. Which,
You're talking
like,
about body hair on you.
yes, on me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, personally, like my own insecurity things.
Gotcha.
That's like something that I think about, and I'm like, oh shit, well, my legs are hairy. They don't give a fuck. They don't think about it. Like, but it's still something that I'm still thinking about the whole time, and like shit like that. But on other people, I feel like if you bring attention to it is the only time that people really notice.
Yeah.
Unless it's like right in their view. You know,
Yeah.
like my boyfriend has his fucking mom's name tattooed on his chest. I'm like,
that's
really?
another thing. Tattoo, yeah.
Like, really? Every time I gotta look at your mom's fucking name. My ex had his mom's handprint on her chest. I'm like, oh, let me not line up with that, because that's
weird.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, stop getting your mom's names tattooed where we can see them when we're banging, please.
Well, where should they go? You're not going to tattoo your mom's name on your ass.
I mean, I don't know, on your arm maybe, or like somewhere less where like in view.
You know why they're not going to tattoo it on their arm?
Why?
Well, I mean, I guess you could tattoo it on your upper arm, but you're not going to tattoo it on your forearm.
I mean, yeah. It's see the same reason why you shouldn't get it on your chest.
Yeah, I get it. But people are selfish. They get it on their chest, so it's not on their forearm when they're...
Yeah. I mean, I don't notice it that much anymore, but I'm just like, wow, of course, like numerous people that I've dated have their mom on their chest.
You know what you should do is just shout out her name one time.
Absolutely fucking not.
And see what happens.
No.
He's like, fuck it, getting rid of this one.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
No more mom's tattooing this. And then like he shows up and it's like a family outdoor party, jumping in the pool. And she's like, what happened? I thought that my name used to be tattooed on your chest. Where is it now? You don't love me? You don't have that anymore? Rebecca shouted your name one time while we're having sex. You have sex?
Yeah, no, that's...
But then she gets all bashful, like, oh, Rebecca, you thought of me? Then it gets real weird.
Real weird.
Real fast. It's a thing. I think of, like I know someone who has like a birthmark like on their face.
Yeah.
And like this is a real thing that people, I get where insecurities and stuff come from. I have on me, like on my chest, I have this massive keloid as a scar. So what happened was years ago, I dislocated my shoulder and I broke a little bit of my collarbone and it poked through the skin.
Ouch.
And, I'm a badass. So I was like, this was not the first time I dislocated my shoulder. So I was like, I'm going to try to get this in by myself and not go to the ER, and then I'll do physical therapy. And I just like jam my shoulder and I try to put it in. Instead, I throw it out the back, and not knowing that partially it's kind of like broken or cracked a little bit. So this bone is kind of not poking all the way through, but it's like poking out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a tent, I guess, is if you're looking at it. Like the pole doesn't necessarily go through the middle of a tent, but it's there, it's around it. And so then I go to jam it back in, and it goes out the back, and this bone is like caught and snagged. And so that's the scar that is across like my chest, like right under my neck. And it's really gnarly looking and gross. And I've had like steroid injections that kind of flatten it out, and then I ran out of money, so now it looks even more awkward. But it's weird, and I've always been kind of self-conscious of it. And it's like, you get those first moments and you're shirtless with someone, and then it's like surprise, and like, oh, and it always has happened since I've had it. Like, what is this? What happened?
Like,
and some of it becomes sympathy. Like, what happened? Then you tell them like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Not always the case, but it freaks people out. I don't love going to pools and places and things because, like, it's not even the adults. It's like the kids. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so cognizant. Like, I don't want to scare this kid. And, and I shouldn't feel like I'm a scary person because I'm not. But, like, I remember what it was like to be 5 and younger.
You just see something you're not used to seeing.
Yeah, but I still am, like, very, there is the old adage that chicks dig scars, right?
I love scars. Scars and bruises is my shit.
Yeah.
I love them.
So I don't know why I thought that. I feel like maybe that is true, but I still feel like it's so crazy and gnarly looking that it wouldn't. But I get it. I mean, there's people who have birthmarks and different things, and it's like, I don't know.
I'm pretty lucky. Like, I have And I always hope that people do notice this about me. Like, you know, you have things that you don't want people to notice. But I have this cute little like birthmark, like right at the bottom of my fucking titty.
You can't hear Rebecca. It's because she's so far back trying to show the location of it.
So it's like right at the bottom of my titty. There's one like under it, and then there's one on it, and everybody fucking loves it. They're like, that is the cutest thing ever.
Is it like a shape of a heart or something?
No,
it's cool?
just like it looks like a mole or a big freckle or like whatever. It's just like it just like sits very nicely there. And,
all right.
And they sit very nicely for that viewing.
Okay.
I love that one.
Well,
I like hope they notice it.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah. But then I have like transparent moment here. I have like random chin hair, and I get so like the second a man touches my chin, I like my body concaves. I'm like, please don't fucking touch my chin. Don't want them to notice it. Like, it's just something that I have to deal with because I can't afford laser hair removal right now, and that's just how my body works. So we just take care of it when we can, and sometimes like. I think about it every time that someone even touches my face. I'm very peach fuzzy. I'm very like, that is my thing. Don't touch my face. Like, I hate it.
See, I have all sorts of hang-ups. Like, so I don't know, I feel like we talked about this, but we've had this conversation, not on here, but as humans and friends. I am mostly deaf in my left ear. I don't have an eardrum.
Yeah.
It happened years and years ago. I had issues when I was a kid, and eventually got to the point they're like, it just kept breaking and bursting, and they try to piece it together. Like, I had 5 surgeries on my left ear. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, all right, we're just going to take this thing out. And so they did. And so my left ear sits kind of funny, but then also I already have attached earlobes, which is a very rare trait, but it's a genetic thing. Mm-hmm. But then there's like the piece of cartilage that everybody has. Like, when you get your cartilage pierced, like not up top, but that one that sits like right towards the front of your face.
Conch or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I
don't have that on my left ear because they had to take it and they used cartilage in there when they were trying to save my eardrum and piece it together during one of the surgeries.
So it's just like straight instead of the little hump?
There's like, it almost looks like a little mini 2 mountain range. Like, it's really small, if that makes sense. Like, there's like an indent in where it would be. And so that's there, and it folds kind of differently. And there is like a very slight scar that people can see. But
do you actively sit on the other side of people then? Because I know people that like,
sometimes.
Like, if I have something on like one side of my face or body or whatever, I will make sure that I always sit on the other side of.
So I do it just so I can hear them better.
Oh yeah,
not necessarily because of that, but I'll tell you this gross thing, which is not necessarily an issue as of late, but when I would have not as of late, but not anymore. When I would have allergy problems and different things, and so because I don't have an eardrum, this is gonna be gross. This really gross thing happens where, like, you know how you build up earwax, and it's solid. Well, then earwax first starts, it's not solid. It's a liquid.
Yeah.
I don't have anything holding that in there. Oh. So when my allergies used to be really bad and I didn't know that I had an allergy issue, my fucking ear was just gross.
Oh.
And when like
that sucks.
Leak, it's like, what the fuck? And it happened at random times. So then like that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Because like, oh man, imagine you're spending the night at a girl's house, right? And you're sleeping in her bed and you're like, how the fuck do I explain this shit just drained onto her pillow? Like, it's so gross. And I'm like, so there were so many times where, like, I definitely was a guy who, like, hey, this was a good time. I'm gonna go sleep in my own bed, and it was
just a personal thing.
It was a personal weird thing, and it's like, and then when I figured out, okay, sure, I'm all snotty and nasally and gross because of allergies, and I started taking allergy pills. Like, okay, cool, this went away, but but it was, I didn't know why it was happening. It was disgusting. That's a thing. And so it's like, when you're dating people, do you tell people this stuff up front? Like, should you tell people about these hang-ups and these insecurities?
It depends on the relationship. Like, I told TJ, we were playing this game. It was kind of like one of those get to know you games. I've probably told you about it before.
Yeah.
But I think a question about insecurities came up, and, we started talking about it, and he was like, yeah, I did kind of notice that. And I started bawling. I was just like, oh my God, like no one's ever told me that they noticed it before, but him telling me, I'm like, people have definitely noticed it before.
Just didn't say anything.
And just don't say anything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just the thought of that made me like so uncomfortable. Like, I'm glad he said something or whatever. I'm glad we could talk about it. He doesn't care, blah, 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 whatever. But it was just like, oh my God, this is something that people actually notice.
Yeah.
Like, because they're close enough to me to see it. Like, so I'll talk to my friends about it and they're like, oh, I never really noticed it about you because they're not looking for it or they're not like that close to my face, whatever.
Sure.
But when I found out he'd noticed, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, like they weren't like in makeout distance from you.
Yeah.
That makes
I'm
sense.
like, fuck. But I mean, it made me feel more comfortable with him because he's like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
like,
I don't care.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm clearly still into you. Here I am.
So I think it's like, it's once you feel like comfortable enough to share those insecurities with someone,
Yeah.
then it just opens the door for you to be comfortable in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I think a more common one is for like women is like our smell. Because it is very normal to have a stench down there, whatever.
Right.
And I think that we've just been trained so much to think of it as a bad thing or like a whatever, but like dudes don't fucking care. They probably don't even notice it sometimes it's bad. Obviously you can kind of tell when it's bad, but I think like if it's like a normal,
they might notice if it's different than what it usually is or something.
Yes.
Sure.
And like,
if they're observing.
like I've had that conversation, like also obviously with TJ, like very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just like feel like I smell bad. Like I just don't really want to, I don't want to bang. I don't want to do it. I feel gross.
Yeah.
It's just like, but I mean, I can tell him that and he'll either be like, well, I don't fucking care
Right.
or whatever. But it's like, it's that insecurity of like, well, like, are they going to go down there and expect it to smell like fucking roses? Because that's not going to be the case. And if they're a grown ass man, they know that. But I think that's a huge one with women where it's like, I feel like maybe like men too, like if like they feel like they've been sweating all day or like you've been out at a baseball game all day and your balls are sweating all day.
Yeah.
Like your balls are going to stink. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I got a hairy ass.
Yeah, like that's another thing. Like men have hairy asses. And
you just do.
yeah, it's just a thing. Like whatever.
Sure.
I don't fucking care. I'm still going to look at that shit when you walk away and I'm not going to get turned off by any means. Like,
well, and I think, with women too, when I think the big
women
thing.
have hairy asses. We just have to shave ours.
Yeah, the big thing with women, I feel like, in modern society and stuff, at least that you see a lot, is them worrying and being self-conscious about like stretch marks and things like that. And like Demi Lovato, I think about how maybe it was like 6 months ago or something, she put out these posts and she was like, hey, here's me in a bikini without it being touched up. I had it touched up for years and years, but she's like, I've been going to therapy and stuff, and I'm just like, fuck it.
This is
here's
who
I am.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, cool. Be you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the stretch mark thing. I think I feel really awful about that women have to deal with that kind of thing, especially like when it comes from kids, right?
Right.
Because it's like, man, I can't imagine the thought process of like, all right, I just gave you the gift of our child.
Right.
And now
you're
not
insecure.
into me because
yeah. Oh.
as a guy, like, but as a woman, like now you're thinking that they're not in, like
I've had stretch marks since I was in high school, like on my inner thighs, and I used to in high school. I was very like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, am I fat? Am I like whatever?
Yeah.
Because people didn't talk about it then,
right?
And now I barely even notice them anymore because
like
I'm
weight
just like
fluctuates. There's a lot of reasons you would have, sure.
Yeah, and like, my thighs have gotten thicker. That's just like what is gonna naturally happen. Like thank God for it. Like whatever. But yeah, always used to be super insecure about that, but it just kind of went away as I was like, this is fucking normal. Like, I also think the human body, like, there's nothing that, like, there's no, like, normal body. They just preach it to us, and they preach this soft photoshopped skin and this all, you know, whatever. And it fucks with our minds, you know?
That's the biggest thing, is that there really is no such thing as normal.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody out there that has a hang up about your body and different things of it, whether it's the shape, size, or different markings, scars, doesn't matter. Like there is no normal.
Right. And if someone's going to think differently of you because of that, you shouldn't be fucking them, or that they shouldn't be seeing you naked in the first place.
Which is easy to say, but like we all have that attraction to someone, and you're like, we still have that natural validation that goes in our mind when that person can pick us.
Yeah.
Whether it's for something physical,
right,
or in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like there's still that whole thing where then it becomes like, oh, I have this and they still picked me, or whatever the case may be.
It could be a positive thing too, where you're like, oh, I am enough.
Yeah. And then there's the tricky situation where you definitely get down on it. And I get it's an insecurity and a lot of stuff I think stems from obviously when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
The kids pick on
kids are
mean.
Fucking mean.
Kids
I used to
mean.
get called Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm a hairy bitch. Like,
yeah.
I've always been hairy. My parents didn't let me shave my legs until I was a certain age. My arms have always been hairy. I have always been a hairy girl. Mm-hmm. And people called me Chewbacca. They'd make fun of my hairiness. I still was liked, and I still was whatever. Like, people thought I was cute, but then it was like, you still have that thought in the back of your head. And it's like, well, like when people think it's cute to like pet my arm, I'm like, please don't fucking do that. Yeah. Like, they're like it's so. I have one friend. He so there's this thing with like African men that they love. Like, it's a thing in their culture that it's an attractive quality to be a hairy woman. Okay. It's like an aphrodisiac for them, so to speak. I can't think of the right word. And so I have one friend, he like will always pat my arm because he just loves it. He's like, never ever shave your arms, just like whatever. And I'm like, well, thank you. Like, for the first time ever. But here we glorify this like smooth skin, bare skin, like no body hair, look like a 13-year-old, like for your whole life. Yeah. And it fucks with girls. It's fucked with me for a long time now. I don't really fucking care. But like, always fucked with me. Like, because kids are fucking mean. I mean,
I think that's what it kind of comes down to is you get hung up about things that were said to you growing up.
Because kids don't have a filter and they don't care, and they're going to call you out on even kids now, like as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
My girls that I babysat throughout the pandemic, they would say stuff about, they'd be like, your chin is hairy. Or something like that, or like you're what? And I'm like, well, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, like I have the scar, and it's like if I go places and on vacation and go swimming, I'm like, it's the kids, and I don't care when they say something. Half the time
but it's
funny,
just like, oh,
but
now you're like, oh, it's noticeable.
Yeah, but and then they're also sometimes they are creeped out or weirded out. It's like, that kid's here to have a good time and just be a kid. Yeah, I don't need to freak them out. Like whatever.
Yeah.
And have them ask all these questions, and then maybe they're weirded out, like, oh my God, is that going to happen to me? Like, nah, it's not going to happen to you. You're fine. You know, so that comes down to it. But it's, have you ever dated, full transparency, have you ever dated someone that had something and you were like, I can't get past it?
Other than the small penis, no.
Well, that's the thing. Listen, it's got to be serviceable.
I've seen some really small penises in my life, and they were really great guys and all that. And I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. I can't take that seriously.
Yeah. Which
is a terrible thing to think and say, but full transparency, that's how I'm like if someone pulls up with a micro penis, is that
yeah.
Can you do that? I couldn't personally, and that's just being honest.
If you have something that you're really worried about, say, because there are people with massive birthmarks,
Yeah.
right? That take up huge portions of their body,
Or a
scars
third
and things,
nipple,
or
or
third
a-
nipple. Yeah.
That I don't even think would freak me out that
should
much.
you do you think people should disclose this stuff? Not like, like, hey, you shouldn't be proud, like, you disclose this stuff. But I mean, like, if you're insecure about it, do you say something to someone right away, or is that jumping the gun? Because
I think
everybody's
that-
big concern is
Well,
it's
yeah.
going to turn them off before they even
Well,
see
exactly.
it.
So I think that it's again person to person, where
Yeah.
if you're comfortable enough telling them beforehand, I think that's a great thing. Like if I'm insecure about something, I'm not afraid to be like, hey, just so you know, like I got this going on, like
Yeah.
it's nothing to worry about. It's like, whatever. Nah, it's nothing to worry about. But like, I would feel comfortable telling someone just because I don't want to ruin the good time that we're about to have
Right.
by being in my head. Like, especially
fair.
as a woman, like you can literally, like, when we get caught in our heads and we can't think about
You're
anything
done.
else,
Yeah.
we can't perform, we can't do anything.
Sure.
It's just not a thing. So then it's going to turn into more than what it would have been if you didn't disclose, like, hey, just so you know, like, I don't want to think about this the whole time that you're seeing me naked. I'm
Yeah.
a little insecure about this. Please don't point it out, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think it's fair trade if you want to not think about it yourself.
give it the heads up.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing is give the heads up.
Yeah.
It becomes no
I
big
just,
deal.
I think it's more so not like you're warning them that you have it, but you're warning them that you're sensitive about it.
Yeah.
So like maybe don't bring it up. Maybe don't say anything about it. Like I know you're going to notice it, but don't bring it up, or don't
You could always
focus
ask about
on
it
it
after the fact.
Yeah, like don't be looking at the one thing that I'm insecure about that's on my stomach, or you
Yeah.
know, like just kind of see it and keep going.
I mean, I'm sure there are people who have seen things and then been like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm not into this anymore.
Yeah, and that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you can't stay turned on by someone or something that is on someone, then don't force it.
Is that pretentious though? You know what I mean?
No.
Like, is it I can't
It
think of the
depends what
word,
it is. I think it depends what it is.
Yeah.
If it's something that they can control, then I can understand being like, all right, well, why don't you just take care of this? Or like, you know, if
Yeah.
you,
Well, because I think back when we talked about ending things with people, and we say you're allowed to ask, no one's ever going to say,
right,
rightfully so. You
your
should.
hairy ass freaked me out and I'm over it.
Yeah, I don't like your
Yeah.
baloney size areola nipples. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's going to say that.
Yeah. But it's a thing.
It's a thing. So it's, yeah, I mean, how do you, so I get it, but where does that hang up come in? I don't know.
Yeah. It's so hard to generalize because people are all so different in how they, you know,
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, I was born with these fucking nips. Like,
When I was younger, one of the first pair of boobs that I got to feel up, she had a hair. And I was like, oh, well,
that's normal.
but
Yeah.
for me, I was like, well, that's
Yeah.
different. Because you don't know what to
it
expect.
yet. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You
But I
just
was
gotta
like,
go with an open mind. too.
whatever. I'm still into this. She probably doesn't even know that it's there.
Yeah. And as you brought up, like the whole like areola thing, like I dated a guy that he had very large nipples. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. He, you know, lost some weight, like whatever. And I noticed it, but it didn't bother me at all. It was like in the top 3 sex of my life.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, the weight loss
and
is a thing too. You
Yeah.
know, your body looks different if you've lost a ton of weight, and
Yeah.
people get nervous about that. Sure.
But I think like if it does bother you, like get the fuck out now. Like don't waste my time. If you're literally going to end something over one little body thing that you see maybe every other night or whatever, like
yeah.
then bye. Like don't waste your time. Cuz that's like so minuscule to the purpose of dating.
Yeah.
Like if you're just banging someone, sure, you want them to be a fucking 10 in your
Sure.
eyes. That's fine. Seek what you need or want or whatever. But to be so judgmental about appearance when you're dating.
Yeah.
And you're trying to find a connection with someone. I just think that that's foolish.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. Is knowing that you're right. It's not like you're not going to see somebody naked all the time and whatever.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, sure.
Then,
Are you more into this person? Like, whatever. And, the other side of it, too, is how into this person are you? Because if it is a small hang up to you, are you into them enough to realize that it is a major hang up to them being nervous that's
going to be your deal breaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so can you make them more comfortable about it?
Right. Well, and that's where it comes into can they change it too?
Sure.
Like, if someone has like gingivitis and they have really fucking terrible breath, like, can you deal with it? Can you, are you going to tell them? Are they going to, like, that's a hard one. I think it's more so like the things that you could go to certain measures to control. Like I had a guy friend who dated a girl and she had really terrible breath all the time, like all the fucking time. And he would just like give her gum all the time. All the fucking, like always, like if someone offers me gum, anytime TJ offers me gum, I'm like, does my breath smell? Like, oh my God. But like, I wonder, like, did they think about that? Did they know that? Did anybody tell them? Like,
So I would feel bad 'cause I just love chewing gum.
Same.
So like, I'll offer somebody.
Yeah, that's what TJ always chews gum. So
sometimes
like,
I think about that sometimes too. Like when I offer it out to people,
right? You're like,
just people, I'm like, oh man, do they think that I think that they have like, just being nice? Damn it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the moral of all this, folks, kids, friends, is what you are hung up on is probably not what the person that you're dating or talking to is hung up on.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, man, they're just not feeling me. Is it because of this thing on me that I'm hung up on and I feel like is grotesque? It's probably not.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Right.
And again, we've
Unless
talked about this many
they're a shallow
times.
piece of shit.
Right. If they're very vain. We've talked about communication so many times on this. Like, ask.
Right.
And I think that you'll find out that it's so much more than that. And that's a very, as I say that out loud, that's a very telling thing, is that I think sometimes people get stuck and they don't ask to find out that like
it wasn't
that.
Thought
it was something else. And maybe it was something that you didn't even realize you did. Yeah. And but in your mind, you've had this thing your entire life and you got made fun of as a kid, and so you think that it's still bad moving forward, and now here you are 25 30 years old and somebody doesn't want to continue dating you, and you just think that, oh, it's because of this thing, and I'm so gross, and you have this hang up, and it's like, no, it's not.
No,
so
it's because your personality sucks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
not because one tit droops further than the other one.
Yeah,
they didn't even notice that.
I have no problem with this birthmark right above your eyebrow, like whatever, it's fine. But you were a bitch to me.
Yeah,
so like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
You kicked my friend in the dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why we're not together anymore. Relax. Yeah, ask. Communication has always been the thing, and I get
it just gets easier when you get older.
It does.
Because you get more comfortable within yourself. Like my 22-year-old self would never bring up my insecurities with somebody.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you didn't notice it, I'm pointing it out for you.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I'm like, well, this is who I am. Like, it's not going to change.
Right.
So, just it's more so like a self thing than.
And I think if you have something that is obvious and does stand out, and like, there's no way that somebody's going to not notice it.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to explain what it is and what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, yeah.
I know that it's hard. It's easy to sit here and say, you need to become comfortable with it. But I mean, if you can find a way to just be comfortable explaining what it is,
Yeah.
then I think you are able to become comfortable with it.
Definitely.
Because then it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just bring it back to me. Like, I got this gnarly ass scar.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I became comfortable with, like, yeah, all right, here's what happened. And we're like, oh, shit, that's pretty traumatic and ridiculous. Like, yeah, it is. Like, wow. And then, of course, I get to brag and say, yeah, it happened because I tried to put my shoulder back in. You tried to put your own shoulder back in? Fucking right I did.
You're damn right I did.
Yeah, I saw Lethal Weapon lots of times, and Mel Gibson tried to pop his shoulder back in. I thought I could do the same. I was wrong.
Yeah.
And, then it's like, oh, wow. And, it becomes a whole other...
Yeah.
If you can make your obvious insecurities, I guess, a conversation piece...
Yeah.
It's because they really are.
Mm-hmm.
It leads you down this whole other interesting thing, and you're no longer even talking about that because, like, my story of how it comes out, so my shoulder rips out and I have this scar and I could tell you about it, and then it goes into, well, how did you do that? It was my younger brother's high school graduation party, and we were playing volleyball in the backyard, and I had shoulder issues for years, and I had surgery on it and stuff, and I knew that I could loosen up the joints in my shoulder. Wasn't paying attention. We legitimately played backyard volleyball for like 6 to 8 hours that day, and I was overhand serving a volleyball, and my arm comes forward and my shoulder rips out. So, like, and then I tell the stories like, you were playing volleyball,
right? Like it wasn't like some cool ass story.
Yeah,
like,
nothing like I was in this major brawl and fight. It was like, yep, I was overhand serving a volleyball. Like, oh my god, it's hilarious. And but then it turns into this whole thing. Like, oh, that family loves volleyball. Like, you don't understand. It's very, it's very competitive there. Like the whole rest of the stories. My brother who passed away was on the other side of the net. There's time we're all playing, and he's going through cancer and shit at the time too. But I'm on the ground, and it's so competitive that the volleyball comes back near me. He's the only one out there that notices I'm on the ground and probably has an idea of what happened. He starts making his way towards me, and everybody's like, "Jeff, where are you going?" Like, thinking that he's leaving his team, and he's coming to check out B. And then the ball comes my direction. And my uncle just goes, "Steven, ball!" And I'm on the ground, and I still with my left hand reach out and try to like hit this thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Why?" Then it's like, "Why the fuck did you do that, you idiot?" It's like, "Well, because that was my family, and it's the competitive nature, and then you
that's
you
why
learn
I love
more."
scars, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think scar stories are always so interesting. Like, I have 2 scars that I always tell a story about, like. And that, like, I have one on my chin, which so many people do, like, which I've learned in older age. But, like, it makes me have a double chin pretty much all the time. Eventually, I would love to get surgery to change that because it is another one of my just big things that I just notice every day. I hate it, whatever. But I hit my chin on the side of a pool when I was 8 at a birthday party or something.
Sure.
And so now I have a scar on my chin. I have one on my knee that I'm not really insecure about, but people always think that it's marker on my knee because it's blue.
Oh.
So I ran into the tailpipe of a car when I was younger.
Ouch.
I don't know, probably first grade, something. I was rollerblading and ran into, like, tried to stop myself on a car and hit my knee on it, and there's still dirt in my knee. But I always make it funny. I'm like, well, yeah, if someone killed me and tried to erase all my DNA, cut my fingertips off, take my teeth out, all that shit, you would know it was me because of the scar on my knee. Yeah. So I'm proud of that scar because if I get killed, it's my identifier. It's a unique thing.
And I will tell you, people who are like, oh, those are scars. Those aren't, like, I have this really grotesque birthmark that I'm not happy with. There's like, there's probably something behind that too. That if you just kind of talk about it and open up about it, now you're down this whole other path. Like, you can make these things that we think make us so imperfect. We're all imperfect, but these things that we think drive people away, if we talk enough about them, we can make
that's what makes us
connections with people, and we can further connections with people. Like, you'll get somewhere if you end up talking about it.
Yeah. Our insecurities could be our biggest strengths sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. So, hey, if you have an insecurity, you want to share it, you got a story, maybe you got over it somehow. We'd love to hear that story and share that with people. Email us, berightoverhere@gmail.com. If you have any sort of dating stories or you want dating advice, you're welcome to email us on that as well. And certainly hit us up on Twitter at the Steve Guy or at Rebecca__Max. And of course, follow Cleveland Comedy Festival on social media at CLE Comedy Fest and Golden Ox Studio. Jeremy at Golden_Ox_Studio.
What?
What's the handle here on your social media for Golden Ox Studio?
Oh, it's Golden Ox_Studio for everything.
I was so close. There you go, folks. The man from behind the curtain shouting at me. Golden Ox_Studio. Follow that. And just know that no matter what your hangups and insecurities are about you as a person or your body, Rebecca and I are going to be right over here because this podcast is called I'll Be Right Over Here, the Wingman Podcast. And we'll talk to you next week, everybody. Be a solid human.